So, what do you want to be, or who do you want to become in 10 years? That's a question that has been rolling around in my mind a lot here lately, and it's been something that, I've got these dreams and aspirations, and so do you. You've got these things in your mind that you want things to become, and you have these expectations and these desires. But what are you doing today that's going to lead you to those desires? See, I was going through this season that I was struggling and still in my mind facing things. And God started speaking to me about this thing, drawing a line in the sand. It's been a little hard over the past months, but I am now starting to realize what God was speaking. See, we all have to make decisions. The decision to be who we want to be or fall into the rut of what we already have been. That's a hard thing to face. We have decisions. I don't want to yell at my kids anymore. I don't want to be this person of anger. I don't want to be this person in this way. I want to do these things. But we often find ourselves falling right back into the traps that we always have been. And so, over the next couple weeks, I want to talk about drawing a line in the sand. I had to do it in my life. I had to decide I'm no longer going to be this person. I'm no longer going to be this person who acts this way. I have these desires and I have these dreams, and those desires and dreams are never going to happen because I am not living a life that's going to do that and be that. It's hard. It really is hard to make that decision. But I'm reminded, no man can serve two masters. Either he will hate one and love the other, or he will hold on to one and despise the other. You cannot serve the God and mammon. In that scripture, it says mammon is money. And a lot of times we sit there and we try to serve and try to go after money. And all of our decisions are based on the money that we can get. Are you going to draw a line in the sand and say, I'm not going to be ruled by finances? I'm not going to be ruled by the stress that it has on my life? See, I went through a season of depression. I went through a season that I was facing a lot of things, and I had to draw a line in the sand and say, God, this is not who I am, and this is not how I live. Now, I do understand and do say that there are depressions that require medication and things like that. If you are in one of those, by all means, take that medication. But mine was a self induced depression because I allowed so many things to be spoken against me. And I lived in the sense that these things that were spoken are truth. And a lot of those, I'll tell you one of them. Shane, I've never seen you operate in this way, so I don't ever believe that you can. That robbed so much of my life. And that every time I would go to do something that was contrary to what I've always done, that would play in my head. And I'm sitting here going, God, I know that's not reality. I know that's not what you called me to be. And I know that's not who you said I am. And then I love my wife, but sometimes she would say things and go, well, that's just what you always done. And these things that have constantly come against all of us just started bombarding me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not going to let what my past self define my future self. And I ask you today, are you going to allow what happened in the past to define what your future is? Are you going to hold on to those burdens and those things that God never decided for you to live in to be that way? Are you going to let those burdens define you? I sit here and say, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. See, that I had to let that verse get deep within me. I had to let that verse sink in to the very core of who I am. God said, I have called you to be greater. And we have got to draw the line in the sand and live that way. I want to say this lastly. Consecrate yourselves today to the Lord. Every man upon his son, upon his brother, that they may bestow upon blessing. That's what you have to decide today, to be a blessing. Are you going to live in the past, or are you going to live in what God has called you to be?